In essence, Professor, you just said that one's individual problems are not signs of weakness, but the march of history through oneself, which ennobles. Thus, sir, how does this remarkable insight of yours play out in organization change consulting?
It challenges you, it challenges people to take themselves and their feelings seriously. And this is what philosophy does for you. This is a description of you as an important person. What is going on in you matters and deserves respect and attention. And so the issues that you deal with in your organization are the issues of free will, and each one of these needs careful analysis, introspection, self-discovery, dialogue, free will, anxiety, guilt, ambiguity, happiness, and death. Is that enough for a
That's
day's work?
wonderful. What is this based on?
Well, let's take free will, anxiety, and guilt. The key to a philosophical analysis used in coaching is to have an exaggerated sense and a larger-than-life sense of the power of free will. And free will is a direct experience that accompanies your being aware, your being conscious. And free will is, if you analyze it, experience it, allow it to tell you what it is, it makes you feel anxious, very anxious, and guilty. And we see these not as psychological categories or emotional intelligence, but facts about the world. That when it comes to you, you're free, and your freedom makes you anxious because you don't know where to get your guidance, and it makes you guilty because you can make mistakes and have a conscience. These are fundamental structures of human existence. And when you look at the world, then you see that the world is ambiguous. It's not always clear, nor are your decisions clear. And you have to then exist in a context of ambiguity. And this has implications for what you mean by happiness and ultimately how you deal with the issue of death. Now that's a tall order. I will say only one thing that makes usually a big difference in trying to understand especially anxiety and guilt. There is authentic anxiety and authentic guilt, and there is neurotic anxiety and neurotic guilt. Neurotic guilt and neurotic guilt and neurotic anxiety are the customs of your tribe, are things that you're sort of taught you ought to feel early. But authentic anxiety and authentic guilt are the feelings you get when you betray your human nature, when you betray your ultimate values, when you know that you are a coward rather than a hero, when you know that you are not true to yourself, and when your conscience bothers you. And it's important at that time to understand that what ennobles you is to pay attention to your conscience and to what you know is right, and not go along with what maybe you learned in childhood or what have you, but to have a higher principle on the basis of which you construct your life now. And when you make decisions of that kind, then things begin to change in life. Then you begin to really experience what it is a leader. And this changes the meaning of happiness. And this is a lot of work that goes behind of that. Happiness is significance. It's doing something difficult and worthy that is of service to someone else. That is the ultimate happiness. Not self-indulgence, not pleasure, but doing something that makes you feel noble and worthy. And those are the things that make the difference between a person of maturity and character and a person who is still going through adolescence. Tough words requiring a lot of analysis, but part of human nature if we allow ourselves to go through a process of serious dialogic self-discovery.
Wonderful. And what I believe this does is that what you just said is that when you're in tune with it, you connect with the greatest power on earth. And that is the power of the deep nature of nature and the meaning of the human condition.
What's needed now is a conversation in small groups of people in an organization who then discuss their findings with the whole group. This is not a lecture, but simply to challenge people to give voice to what is inside. Thank you.
And that's what organization change does. And if you go back to a conversation that you and I had a long time ago about one of your friends, Argyros, he says that free choice or free will dealing with data is what gives internal commitment and ultimately gives happiness and gives the opportunity to the organization to change and learn and develop and be different.
Very good.